with another hot topic. Today we're talking about Lagom. All right, Heather, never heard of it. What is it?
Okay, so lagom is a Swedish word that translates into just the right amount. And it's a mindset of not too little, not too much, and just enough that has balance as the ultimate goal. And so it's this lifestyle of moving towards contentment and happiness and a way of learning to live with less and appreciating what we already have. And it's a bit like Goldilocks. Remember with the porridge, it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold, it was just right. That's what we're looking for. Not more than, not less than, just enough. And we have to remember that Sweden is the seventh happiest country in the world, and the US is number 19. So we've got some things to learn from the Swedes.
I got to really think that through. Just the right amount. It seems kind of counterintuitive to, when you're out there and you're, tackling your problems and you're slaying dragons and you're going for that promotion. How do you find that balance?
Yes, I mean, lagom, it sounds so simple, right? It's just balance. And why aren't we doing this more? And it's when we feel lack that makes us feel insufficient. And when we feel insufficient or that we're not enough, this can cause us to go through life with one eye on what we do have and one eye on what other people have or what we don't have. And so when we believe that we are less than or that we are behind, all of a sudden we start to want more than we actually need, as if what we don't have is going to make us feel whole when the reality is all of us are already whole. And so this tension can lead to a search that is never satisfied, where you can't travel enough, you can't buy too much stuff, no amount of success is enough. And then there's this never ending search that keeps us in a state of wanting more than we need.
Ooh, that is pretty profound because if you're not happy exactly where you are right this very, all we have is this very moment. We don't have the past, we don't have the future. And if you aren't appreciating where you're at right now, boy, you're missing out.
Yes, that is, yes, so true. All we have is this moment. Yes.
So how do we do this, Heather?
Okay, well, the cool thing about Lagom is that there are no rules. However you do it is right. And so your approach to Lagom may not be the same as mine. And that's because a balanced life can look different to each person because, of course, we all want and need different things. But I've got 4 ways that anyone can practice more Lagom in their life. The first is get out in nature because there is no better balance than that balance that you find and experience in Mother Nature. Spending time in nature, we know has health benefits, lower blood pressure, you sleep better, better mental health. And again, nature, just sitting in nature, taking a walk. I like to observe those birds, but that will give you a sense of balance because balance is all around you. The second way to practice lagom is take more breaks. So when you have a day that you're just running from pickup to drop off to meeting, a day of back-to-back meetings, that is not lagom. That is not balance. In fact, you are now swinging the pendulum to excessive activity, excessive working. So building in more breaks will help you create more of that balance in your life. And then the third is your decor. So bring some natural elements into your space, whether it is bringing wood grain elements or some plants into your space. And think about our favorite Swedish furniture store, IKEA, right? It's all about minimalism and clean lines and in general less stuff, because when you're surrounded by a lot of stuff, that's not very balancing. There's too much clutter. And then the last thing I would say is ask yourself this very simple question of, do I need this? Just the other day, I was at Target, and with Target, you go in for deodorant and you leave with $50 of stuff you don't really need. And
You
I saw
do?
this really happens all the time, at least $50. And so there was a super cute t-shirt and I was going to buy it. And I thought it was great. I want this t-shirt. And I asked myself, do I really need another t-shirt? And the answer was no.
Oh,
And I
Target
put
doesn't
it
want to
back.
hear that. Too bad, Target.
I mean, sometimes we really do need that pair of shoes, but ask yourself that question, do I really, really need this? And then ask yourself the bigger question, what is enough to make you happy? Because we can't have it all, but we can have enough.
Love it. And I'd add a fifth, practice what you preach. Visit Heather Boschke, our Girl Guide. You really enlighten us every day with your wisdom and your simple hacks, really, to live a better life. Can I do a quick pivot here? You have the bird, the cardinal in the background, and I know you just launched your new book. Would you mind sharing with our audience briefly what you're up to?
Yes. Okay. So in 2021, there's been a few times in my life where I felt like I was getting messages from the universe. And this need to draw and create was a very strong one I was getting. So a couple of years ago, I started drawing, and what came through me was a fat bird. And birds are a big theme in my life. My grandpa used to call me Heather Feather. My company, Vogel Venture, Vogel means bird in German. And so I've got this whole bird thing. And so I started drawing these birds. And when I would draw them, I would name them. So we've got Clarence the Cardinal right there. And every time I name them, some personality traits come to mind. And then I started putting the birds on cards and mugs for friends and family. And then I felt this book in my heart. And so, yeah, it's coming out this month. It's called Little Birdie Buddies of Minnesota. And it's a book that introduces 20 of the different birds you can find here in Minnesota to help educate kids on the different types of birds. And hopefully they'll find one that's most like them with their personality. And my biggest goal is to get them excited about finding Clarence the Cardinal out in the wild.
Oh, Heather, I tell you, your reach is never ending. Thank you so much again for sharing more time in the Joy Corner, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Do you just love the insight Heather brings? I mean, sometimes they seem so simple and so common sense, but they're not. So I encourage you to practice more Lagom in your life. Let us know how it's going.